Stephen Curry just changed Hall of Fame history once again. Now, there are Hall of Famers, there are legends, and then there are players who become so influential that the Hall of Fame changes its own rules to recognize them. That's exactly what just happened with Stephen Curry. For the first time in nearly 75-year history of Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, an active player is receiving a dedicated exhibit. The exhibit, Stephen Curry Beyond the Arc, makes Curry the first current NBA player ever honored in this way before retirement. Not LeBron, not Michael Jordan, not Jokic, not KD, not Bill Russell, not Wilt, not Kareem, not Magic. The Hall of Fame doesn't usually celebrate active players, right? Traditionally, the Basketball Hall of Fame waits, you retire, 5 years pass, then your career can be evaluated before you're inducted. The Hall of Fame has always been about preserving history, not celebrating players while they are still making it. But Stephen Curry forced history to change. The Hall of Fame essentially said, we don't have to wait anymore. His impact is already undeniable. And that's incredibly rare. Because what if an active player's legacy changes, right? Normally, museums avoid taking that kind of risk. With Curry, they believe his basketball legacy is already complete, regardless of what happens next. And so this isn't about statistics necessarily. Sure, 4 NBA championships, 2 MVP awards, the NBA's all-time leader in threes, the only unanimous MVP in league history, Olympic gold medalist, those do not hurt. But those accomplishments alone would make him one of basketball immortals, as we know. But those numbers aren't the real reason. The real reason is something much bigger. Stephen Curry changed basketball forever. Very few athletes completely alter how a sport is actually played, right? Michael Jordan changed the marketing around the NBA. Magic Johnson changed how point guards were viewed in the NBA. Shaquille O'Neal forced teams to rethink roster constructions within the NBA, right? Stephen Curry changed what a good shot looks like. Before Curry, pulling up from 30 feet was considered a bad shot. Shout out to Paul George, bad shot. Today, kids practice it every day. High school teams run offenses around it. College basketball embraced it. In today's NBA, if you're not shooting threes, if you can't shoot a three in today's NBA, you better be a master rebounder. You better be a master passer. You have to, if you cannot shoot today, you have to master something else, right? And so the Hall of Fame isn't just honoring a player in Stephen Curry. They're honoring a movement, if you think about it. When you walk into the Hall of Fame decades from now, future fans won't just learn who Stephen Curry was. They'll learn why basketball in the 2020s and beyond looked completely different than basketball in the early 2000s. His exhibit tells the story of basketball's biggest strategic revolution. And Curry was the face of that. Now, some people might ask, if anyone was to be nominated for this, it would be LeBron. Why Curry? Why Curry? Some people would say, what about LeBron James? LeBron has arguably had the greatest career overall, right? Arguably. But this recognition isn't simply about ranking careers. This is not a points system. It's about transformational impact, right? LeBron perfected greatness. Curry redefined possibility. He's the reason every level of basketball, from youth league to the NBA, places such a premium on shooting and spacing, right? And so the exhibit doesn't stop at championships. It also highlights Curry's work as an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and community leader, showing how his influence extends well beyond the court. That's another reason the Hall of Fame felt comfortable honoring him now. He's built a legacy that isn't dependent on one more championship or another MVP, right? It's already bigger than the box score. And so this is a once-in-a-lifetime honor. So if we put this into perspective, players dream about making the Hall of Fame, right? That's every player with an ounce of ego and a care for their legacy wants to end up in the Hall of Fame. Stephen Curry received a dedicated Hall of Fame experience before he's even eligible for induction. That's like getting a Lifetime Achievement Award while you're still making hit movies. It's unprecedented, and it sends a clear message. The Basketball Hall of Fame believes Steph Curry's influence on the game is already permanent. Not because he scored the most points, not because he won the most championships, but because he permanently changed how basketball is played, coached, watched, and dreamed about. Years from now, fans will not remember Stephen Curry as the greatest shooter ever. They'll remember him as a player who changed basketball so dramatically that the Hall of Fame itself broke its nearly 75-year tradition just to honor him while he was still playing. That's another level of greatness. That's history.